It is hardly surprising that archaeologists have sought out these ancient marvels because Egypt is a country filled with many mysteries. Numerous discoveries that would startle the world have been made, ranging from the pyramids to the mummies of ancient kings. Ancient monarchs' tombs are currently being discovered and excavated, but one tomb has remained a mystery and has been concealed from view to this day. It is none other than the tomb of Cleopatra, the legendary Egyptian queen. Archaeologists have been looking for Cleopatra's tombs for years without being successful because the only historical evidence that exists about her appears to come from the writings that have survived. What transpires, though, when a string of recent Egyptian finds puts explorers one step closer to finding Cleopatra's buried tomb. Since archaeologists have been trying in vain to find the final resting place of Egypt's most powerful queen for years, this discovery could be very well one of the most important discoveries of the 21st century. However, only in recent times has a lawyer turned archaeologist come close to discover what might be the long-lost tomb of Cleopatra. What has been discovered close to Alexandria, a significant metropolis, may cause academics to reevaluate their beliefs about the legendary Egyptian queen and the geopolitical climate of her period. But what had been uncovered, and how does that change our perception of the greatest Egyptian queens? Let's explore together. Even though the Egyptians saw Cleopatra as a strong queen, the Romans have subsequently come to see her through the prism of a seductress, likely as a result of her desire for and readiness to hold on to power. After the death of Cleopatra's father, King Ptolemy XII Auletes in 51 BC, she was just 18 when she became embroiled in a dispute over who should reign, and she later ruled alongside her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, whom she also married in accordance with Egyptian tradition. Cleopatra went to Syria as a result of her younger brother's avaricious attempt to usurp the throne for himself, which led to a civil war between the brothers. She then won Julius Caesar's favor, who was at the time Rome's sole ruler. Following her marriage to her 12-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIV, Cleopatra seized power after her brother and first husband, Ptolemy XIII, drowned while evading Caesar's soldiers on the Nile River close to Alexandria. You would assume Cleopatra's relationship with Rome would deteriorate after Caesar's death in March 44 BC, but instead the queen began a new relationship with General Mark Antony, a powerful Roman commander. According to history, Cleopatra landed in Tarsus, present-day Turkey, carrying exotic essences intended to amaze. As expected, it was a success because she started a love affair with married Antony right away, and he even relocated to Alexandria to be with her. However, their love ultimately contributed to both of their demises because the Romans did not find it impressive and perceived it as Egypt's influence on Roman affairs. After a battle in 30 BC, Antony stabbed himself in retaliation for Cleopatra's declaration that she intended to commit suicide. After Antony's death, Cleopatra tried to negotiate with Octavian, his co-regent, but she was unsuccessful. So she decided to poison herself and commit suicide in her tomb. According to legend, she let a deadly snake bite her and her two maidens. However, none of these explanations have been proven, and the lack of eyewitness reports makes the cause of her death even more ambiguous. Despite the fact that Cleopatra's reign was one of the most important of the Ptolemaic era, the mausoleum where she and her lover, Antony, passed away has remained undiscovered over the course of time. That is until Dr. Kathleen Martinez, a former criminal defense attorney from the Dominican Republic who is now an archaeologist from the University of Santo Domingo, decided to search for the tomb of the famous Queen Cleopatra. She began looking in 2004 and has since been excavating locations in an effort to find additional information regarding Cleopatra's tomb. Her perseverance in finding the tomb of the legendary Greek queen who governed Egypt has led her to make startling findings about what might have been the Ptolemaic period's way of life, which has the potential to change history. According to her, if there's 1% chance that the last queen of Egypt could be buried there, it is my duty to search for her. If we discover a tomb, it will be the most important discovery of the 21st century. If we do not discover the tomb, we made major discoveries here, inside the temple and outside the temple. She is absolutely correct, as evidenced by the discovery of golden-tongued mummies during her excavation, as well as a ceremony full of Greco-Roman style mummies that were interred facing the temple. This has demonstrated to the lead archaeologist that a royal tomb was constructed nearby. You might be wondering what region these finds were made in. It was on the Egyptian coast. It is the Osiris Temple from the ancient city of Toposiris Magna. In her interview with CNN, Martinez says that the excavation revealed a huge religious center with 3 sanctuaries, a sacred lake, more than 1,500 objects, busts, statues, golden pieces, and a huge collection of coins portraying Alexander the Great, Queen Cleopatra, and the Ptolemies. While she was alive, Cleopatra, who dominated and captured the hearts of her people, was thought to be the human embodiment of the goddess Isis, and Anthony, whom she loved, to be the god Osiris, Isis's spouse. As a result, Kathleen thinks that there's a chance Cleopatra's tomb might be there because she might have wanted to honor the legend. And additionally, Kathleen thinks she must be getting closer to finding the queen's tomb based on clues discovered in the temple that included figurines of the goddess Isis and coins with Cleopatra's titles. Along with the treasures found, Kathleen and her crew also came across a massive tunnel measuring 4,200 feet long and 42 feet deep, which Egyptologists and archaeologists have affectionately dubbed an engineering miracle. This tunnel's architectural style is very similar to the tunnel of Eupalinus on the Greek island of Samos, which is regarded as one of the most important engineering feats of the classical era. So what's up with this amazing Greek-style tunnel in Egypt? What are its purposes? Are the Egyptian architecture renowned for emulating pyramid structures? Was this a place of worship instead? After all, the finding has advanced considerably as they are shown rectangular limestone blocks, ceramic jars, and pots that are buried beneath the mud sediments of the tunnel. The tunnel has a section that is buried in water, which presents a challenge for the archaeologists despite their excitement at their find. The temple of Osiris Magna may have fallen because of the over 23 earthquakes that are thought to have struck the Egyptian Mediterranean coast between 320 and 1303 AD, according to Kathleen Martinez. However, this new obstacle is exciting to Egyptologists and archaeologists, and maybe even more so to Kathleen Martinez, who has spent nearly half her life looking for the renowned queen's tomb. Her expedition apparently began in 2005 after Zahi Hawa, an Egyptian archaeologist who was serving as the country's Minister of Antiquities Affairs at the time, gave his approval to her notion. She says, "My perseverance cannot be confused with obsession. I admire Cleopatra as a historical character. She was a victim of propaganda by the Romans, aiming to distort her image, and might we add, they were almost successful. She was an educated woman, probably the first one who studied formally at the museum in Alexandria, the center of culture in her time," she continued. Martinez claims that she is an advanced learner who respects Cleopatra's wit. She also believes that the fact that women can currently work anywhere in the world is due to Cleopatra's perseverance and spirit of resistance. She claims Cleopatra inspires her as a linguist, mother, and philosopher. The lead archaeologist thinks they could be getting closer to completing their goal, even if the tomb has not yet been found. Since the tomb, or nearly half of it, has already been submerged in the Mediterranean Sea, Martinez and her team are planning to conduct their digging underwater. Even though it is too early to know where these tunnels lead, Martinez is still optimistic that she will discover the grave of her idol. The reason might be because the said temple was dedicated to Isis, and throughout history, Cleopatra was an avid worshiper of Isis and even idolized her to an extent. So according to Martinez, this is just a sign that the lost tomb is within reach. Martinez and her team are aiming to start the excavation next because Kathleen thinks the underwater investigation, which should start soon, is the beginning of a new journey. The greatest significant discovery of the century, according to her, would be made if the tunnels eventually led to the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb. The course of history would undoubtedly be altered and possibly even rewritten as a result of this discovery. The reason why the tunnel is identical to the Eupalinus tunnel in Greece has been questioned. Nevertheless, what might this indicate? Is there a chance that Cleopatra's remains are interred at the Isis temple? She was a member of the Osiris cult, after all. Or may all of this just be a theory? I would love to hear your opinions, so please leave them in the comment area below.